Hi, I'm Mike. Get ready for something completely new as we dive into 360 video right here on our Wyoming Life. That's my hand. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us once again. Please subscribe and make sure that you hit that bell button so you get notifications when we have new videos come out. Thanks for joining us as we explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. Every day around here, something new is going on, and I've got a little bit of a break here to tell you about a new idea that we have here on our Wyoming Life. Technology is always evolving, and it still does just like any other times, and especially with YouTube. And one of the ways that we've been looking at doing things is through 360 video. Now, this wouldn't be something that we could do all the time, obviously, but it's something that we could incorporate into brandings, preg checking, you know, that kind of thing when we're sorting calves and stuff like that. So I thought we'd just give it a try this weekend and just see how it works. Now here's the rub. The camera that we would need to do this costs anywhere between $500 to $1,000. I've contacted GoPro to see if they would be willing to let us use a camera for a little while, and I haven't heard anything back from them yet. So what I did was I went to Wally World and found this camera. Now this is a $50 360 camera. And whether it works or not is really not the huge question. We know it's not going to be the best quality in the world, but it is going to give you the opportunity to see what a 360 video on the ranch would look like. Up in the corner, you're going to see, if you're watching this on a desktop, you're going to see a little cursor type deal that has 4 arrows in it. Now you can either grab the screen if you're watching on a desktop and drag the screen around, or you can use those cursors to actually look around me. This camera shoots 360 degrees all the way around. If you're watching on your phone or any other mobile device, including a tablet, you can actually move your phone. So you can move your phone around and you can actually look around the countryside as I'm sitting here talking. Also, if you're watching on a desktop, I believe most desktops are most browsers are going to allow you to use your mouse to scroll in and out and zoom in and out on the video. So this is 360 video. Like I said, we're looking at using it during brandings and anytime that we're in a corral where there's a lot going on in a lot of different directions maybe. This might be a good time to do it. Haying might work. We could always strap it onto a tractor. But like I said, we want to get a better quality camera to do this than we're using right now. But rather than go out and spend the money and find out that you guys aren't interested in it anyway, we figured we'd just do it the cheap way and do a little test run of the whole thing. So here's the plan for today. I'm going to take this camera around with me. I've got to go back and check on some gates and some stuff going into different corrals. These guys will be heading down to summer pasture before too long. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to drive that route, taking them back to summer pasture. We're going to stop in different pastures, set up the 360 camera, let you take a look around, and I'll narrate my way through it if I need to, but we'll kind of show you what we're doing, where we're going, and hopefully get a good test of this thing and get you guys a good idea of what the 360 camera experience would be all about. So I've got the four-wheeler sitting right here. Obviously, as you can see, if you move the screen that way, we're going to jump on it and we're going to take off down the road a little bit and go down and look at some summer pasture. Away we go. So the basics of this thing are pretty simple. If you have a smart TV though, this may not work for you. Some smart TVs work and some don't. If it doesn't work on your TV, you may actually have to go to a computer for it to work. On the computer, you can use your mouse to look around, just grab the screen and move it, or use the cursors up in the upper left. And on your phone, you can move your phone around, or you can use your finger to move the screen back and forth 180 degrees vertically and 360 degrees around horizontally. One thing to keep in mind when you are touching your screen is that you may accidentally pause the video a few times. That'll happen. Just click it again to unpause. So this pasture is what we call the cut across. Basically the whole point, it's not huge, it's about 100 acres or so and goes up over this hill a ways. But when we bring the cows from where they're at now in their home pasture up this way, we bring them through the cut across here so that they don't mess with the hay fields, which are right over here. There are about 170 acres of hay fields right here that they actually just go right around when it's time to move them down to summer pasture. So they won't spend much time in this pasture, but it is definitely on the way. As we leave the cut across pasture, we now head in to the heifer pasture. This pasture here is called the heifer pasture mostly because it pretty much houses heifers most of the time. And there's another cut across at the other end of the cut across to get around the heifer pasture if we need to. But we're going to drive through the heifer pasture and head towards what we call the one-legged windmill pasture. And you'll see why in just a minute. So this is what we call the one-legged windmill pasture. It's kind of a bowl down in here, but it's great for runoff, which really does catch down in this pasture here. So there is a lot of standing water, a lot of reservoirs that the cows can drink out of while they're down here. They'll spend probably the month of July, maybe, in this pasture, depending on how much grass there is, until they move down to their summer pasture, which is the giant part of the ranch that most people never see. And that is where they will spend their entire summer. Let's go check it out. So this is literally the beginning of summer pasture for the cows. There are thousands of acres down here, making up well, more than what, probably 2/3 of the ranch is down here. And this will be where they will spend their entire summer. This is where the calves will grow, and where the cows will care for their calves and get in trouble and do everything else that cows do. All that's going to happen right down here. I got a couple things that I want to show you throughout this pasture. They're not really things that I can really talk about. Maybe I'll figure out something to say about them. But we have one that I'd like to do is I'd like to take you up to the top of what is probably the highest point on the ranch. I'd like to go up there and get some 360 footage from up there. And then we have an old windmill that's all the way back, and a few homesteads that we might be able to take a look at as well. So we are going to head that way, up on top of that hill, which I hope you can see. And then we're going to head way back that way to take a look at some of the oldest structures on the ranch. So come along. So this is one of the high, oh, I'm over here, just spin around, there you go. This is one of the highest points on the ranch, especially back here in the summer pasture. This is the highest point in the summer pasture. Now that I look at it, I think that those hills up by our house are actually higher than where we sit now. But this is a great place to come up and sit and look for animals. You know, if you're missing a cow, this is a good place to come and do it, to come and look for her, not to miss her. But you know, sometimes it's a good place to come and miss people too. So not a bad place to hang out at all. This is probably one of the more peaceful places on the ranch. Feel free, have a look around. Our next stop is way down there, about, I don't know how far away, mile maybe a mile away. We're gonna head down there. We're gonna check out an old windmill that still works, still pumps water. I really don't have any idea how old it is, but I know we put a lot of work into keeping it working. So we're gonna head down that way and take a look at that old girl. This is one of the earliest structures here on the ranch. Built back in the early 1900s, this windmill provided water for God knows what. Livestock, they could have irrigated out of it, who knows? And it still stands and it still works, even though they are very high maintenance. At some point I would like to replace a couple of the windmills on the place with solar powered water wells, but for now, this thing is just, it's a piece of history. And even if we did take it out and replace it with a solar powered well or something, I would try to save it. I've talked to Erin about it. I would like to move it up by the house and at least have it set up to continue doing its thing. Maybe it's not pumping water, but it'll always spin. This is Wyoming after all. Back this way, we have one more stop to make, and that is at the original homestead back here on this section of land. So we're going to head over that way and take a look. This homestead was originally built, I want to say like 1922 or something like that. But this is the oldest homestead that's still actually any part of it left on the ranch. There's a couple more homesteads that kind of look something like this that are a little bit tore down, but or a lot tore down. But most of them were actually taken out and removed. So this one you can still see. The walls are still here, the roof is still here obviously, and underneath here, well, who knows what is here. I've always been tempted to do a little excavating, but at the same time, if I do that, it kind of feels like, you know, like digging up a grave kind of thing, if that makes any sense. So, as we take a look at the very oldest on the ranch, we now take a look at the newest, and that is this 360 video technology. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this camera is a POS, but it does give us the gist of what we would be looking at if we decided to invest in doing this. And this is where we need your help. Well, I need your help because Erin thinks it's silly. I'm a goofball for tech and gadgets and things like that. So I think it would be kind of cool to have during branding, or you know, anything where there's multiple things going on at once, or scenery you might like to look at. As I'm yammering on, you can kind of, you know, drift away. But that's up to you. You let us know if you think this is something that you would like to see done better on the ranch, because obviously if we decide to do it, we're going to get a better camera. We're gonna put some effort into it and make it work. So this is totally up to you. You let us know in the comments whether or not you like this. Being able to look around, the 360 technology to me is just awesome. and I hope that you enjoyed it. Even if we never do it again, it's something that I can say that I've definitely done. So thanks for coming out with me today, taking a look through the pastures, as we're going to be moving cows down here before too long. That's generally the path they're going to take, and of course we're going to be down here with them as we continue exploring the ranch life and escaping the ordinary. Please subscribe. Join us again on Tuesday for a brand new video, and coming up next week, the debut of our brand new weekly live stream. It's called the Weekly Roundup. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that you can join us on Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time right here on YouTube. Until then, have a great week, and thanks for joining us in our Wyoming Life.